Hey guys, Definix here, and let's talk StarCraft 2. I just received the beta and my thoughts on it. I think it's fantastic. I really do. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I was going to say regarding like next gen and whatnot, but no. Now that I think about it, I think it's exactly where it needs to be for this gen. You know, it's not exactly PC text tasking, but nonetheless, you know, it still plays good. By PC tasking, I mean that anyone can actually jump in and play. Don't matter the strength of your PC. You know, I don't get it twisted. I mean, if you got like a PC from 5 to 10 years ago, you're probably not going to be able to run it. But you know, I guarantee that if you got your PC at least 6 years ago minimum, then you'll probably be able to run it. So it's, you know, not that particularly bad. Which is something that I've noticed that has been a trend with Blizzard as of late. I've noticed that the things that they release aren't exactly PC taxing anymore. They're okay, but they're not taxing. You know, allowing more people to play. I think that's actually a pretty good technique to use. And, you know, now the music is spot on. I mean, you got like a jazz kind of rock kind of thing going on there. And I'm not sure. I think the music changes depending on the actual race that you choose. But like I said, I choose the Terran most part, so it's spot on. Speaking of which, in terms of the races and their new units, you have the Terrans, which are based off technology information as well as range attack. So all their for the most part, no, actually yes, all of their units are range attacks. So some of the new units includes the Marauders, which are basically guys. Okay, you got the regular guys, the regular fighters, which are in like exosuits. And then you have the Marauders, which are in heavy exosuits. And then you have these things called Thors, which are in freaking heavy exosuits. Basically, those are extreme siege weapons. Of course, on the Terran side, my favorite unit is actually the siege tank. I like it because I call it my Galvatron, basically from Transformers, because what happens is that it's a powerful tank on its own when it's moving, but then when it goes into siege mode, which is which makes sure you can't move, it's strictly firepower. What I have to do is I have to take those tanks as backups, and what I'll do is I'll actually set them just outside. Like when I'm attacking your building, like when I'm at my building, I take those tanks, I put them right there next to the what do you call those things? The barracks, not the barracks, the digouts. I forget what they're called. Basically, you put the Terrans in there, and they're like it shoots. I forget what it's called right now. But anyway, what happens is those tanks, when you're in siege mode, they shoot out extreme firepower, and it kills basically every unit once. You know, every unit with one hit, with the exception of like the high-ranking units. And another thing is that it's not an air weapon, so it has to be. So what I recommend is if you're going to use a siege tank, make sure you build or put it next to one of those ground-to-air missiles. Now you also have the Zerg, which are equivalent to Starship Troopers aliens down there. Basically, you know, like your insect-ish kind of aliens right there, and it's actually pretty good. What happens is that, like I said, they got the strength and numbers kind of thing going on there, and a lot of things are mutated. So I mean, that's kind of a good and a bad, because like it's like, okay, you have one of your grunt units here, and they have to mutate into the building, so you're losing one of your grunt units. But I mean, it's okay. It still does work, and it works very nicely. The last but not least is the Protoss, and the Protoss consists of a Independence Day kind of race. So it's basically like, if you've ever seen the movie Independence Day, that's a good spot to get a glimpse of it. You know, shielding. They're aliens within these mechish kind of forms things. Another way to look at it is if you guys have seen or played Halo 3, the Arbiter, similar to that. Not by much, but similar to that. I mean, that's the best way I can, you know, kind of give you a glance at it. So, but overall, like I said, and the Protoss, I did not get to play much of them, but they are, for the most part, they are also melee. For the most part, they're melee compared to the Terrans. However, their strength comes from their defense. They have shielding and, you know, plenty of shielding. So everything, their buildings, their units have an extra defense to them. So it's actually pretty good in that aspect too. One thing I do like is the animations. Now, like for example, certain creatures like let me give you an example. There's on the Zerg section, there's these creatures that actually spit out acid, and when they spell the acid, if they actually kill a unit, they'll like start spinning around and screaming in pain, and and finally just drop down and start smoking and disintegrate. Same thing, if you set them on fire, they'll do a similar effect, just kind of running around and then that fire affects other units in that area too. Like what happened once is one of my Terran units got hit by the acid. He ran into my other Terran units, and then like the acid affected them, and they all just died. And I was like, oh shit! Talk about turning the tide of battle. So I was like, okay, so that was definitely a good thing. Same thing with the flamethrower; it does the same effect. And it's really hard to get Terrans with that, because as long as you have a number of good Terrans, you're hitting them hard, and especially at a range distance. So once again, yeah. Music is spot on. I'm not sure if I said that already, but yeah, it definitely has that rock and jazz look to it. Overall, it's fantastic. I think that this is, again, if you're a big fan of RTSs rather, real time strategy games, that this is definitely a pickup. Let me see. In the meantime, sorry about that. In the meantime, if you're looking for something to wet your whistle regarding some good RTSs, I recommend this game. Now I know what you're saying. This game came out a while ago. It's one of those games that actually it's actually a one of those like you can play Xbox gamers as well as PC gamers. So for you Xbox fans out there, it's a game pick up. But this game is actually good too. For those who like, if you're on the Xbox and you don't have the ability to play, you don't have a PC or whatever, you don't have the ability to play StarCraft 2, this is the next best thing. Now, this actually is one of those games that did not get as much as it should have. It didn't get as much praise as it should have, and that's a shame too, because it's really good. It's not as good as StarCraft 2 so far, but overall it is good. It has basically the same thing. It actually has 4 races, but you can only play 3. There is a Terran race in there, but you can't play them, as far as I can see anyway. It has basically 3 races for this particular one, but I'll get into a review on this in another time. Stay tuned, I'll actually do a review on that, or talk about it in the next video. But overall, if you guys are looking, if you PC gamers out there, you are wondering, will StarCraft 2 do it for you? It will do it for you. And we haven't even touched Battle.net yet. I don't even know what Battle.net is yet. All I can do is play with what was given to me. So you guys have a good night. Let me know your thoughts. What do you think about StarCraft 2? Have a good night. Zap out.